Hey everyone, welcome to another Citizenship Sit Down. In this episode, I talked to my buddy Thor Holt, who, to be honest, Thor and I could talk for hours and hours on many topics, and we have through the last couple of years, even though it's gone past in the blink of an eye. Thor has some Polish ancestry, and he is, one of our business partners, and he is kind of in the middle of going through his Polish citizenship journey. Really interesting kind of life story. He talks about a few things. His family history does sound like a parts of a James Bond novel. And he's a quite an interesting cat himself. But really enjoyed talking to Thor. As I said, could probably talk to him for hours and hours. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know I did. And if you have any questions for myself or you want to find Thor, you can. I highly recommend you do. So thanks, everyone. And without further ado, let's get into it. Any second now. Here we go. Hey, mate. I guess we'll crop the first 2 minutes of this because I've already given it up unless it's comedy gold.
It's going to be gold now. It's going to be gold. Since all the funniest shit we said was before you hit record, this podcast is over, basically. That's it. There was that bit where we were just crying laughing for like 5 minutes, and then you hit record. This would have been like a rival to a Joe Rogan podcast if you'd hit record, but instead you sat there crying with laughter with the fucking record button off. Schoolboy error, as they say.
My theory is that sound that makes when you hit record kills all humor. There's like a split second where it happens. Anyway.
Well, luckily this is not a comedy podcast, is it? What is this podcast? I don't even know what I'm on here.
Yeah, we're working it out. We're just trying to follow up with some people as they're going on their citizenship journeys, and some of our partners had a really good one this morning where he's in Argentina at the moment, and he gave like a glowing endorsement of Argentina, which was interesting, and was basically like walking through some of the ins and outs, and it was fascinating. Was supposed to be promoting Poland, but he then went on to like Argentina is the greatest country alive. I love this Javier Milei guy, and it was awesome. It was great.
Well, I don't know if Poland is the greatest country on earth, but I'm not going to stand up for Argentina because I've never been there. But what I do know is I went to Poland for the first time last year for my 50th birthday, went to Gdansk, and I was pleasantly surprised. Like, absolutely amazing place, beautiful architecture, super friendly people, amazing service in the restaurants and shops, great food. I'm a vegetarian, and they had really high-end vegetarian restaurants. Did a pub crawl, 1845 pub crawl, because I was turning 50, so why not, because I'm 5 years over the maximum age, but nobody seemed to care. It was one of the best nights I've had in a long time. So yeah, great city. That's all I've experienced of Poland so far, but it's made me want to go back. So I'm going back from my 51st birthday this autumn.
Oh, awesome! Sounds like a good weekend. I didn't know there was an age limit on pub crawls, so that's I would have, that's news to me. That's probably the most shocking thing in that whole summary.
No. You want shocking? The shock is that as a 50-year-old man with some kind of nerve damage in my neck, so my right arm's numb and cold, I still beat a 30-something Norwegian guy in an arm wrestle, because that was one of the pub games, and he couldn't believe it either. He must have outweighed me by about 30 pounds, and he just could not believe that this old scrawny dude kicked his ass in an arm wrestle. But I ain't saying die. I'd rather my arm fell off. So
they don't make them like they used to, is all I can say.
No, they don't. They don't. They do too much tech. They're not used to getting their limbs ripped off. Yeah.
I've probably got enough podcast story for that. About I went to a bachelor party once for a friend, and it was supposed to be the most tame bachelor party, and I broke my ribs, and someone broke their arm in an arm wrestle. But that's the
a good party.
TLDR.
That's the way a party should be. But the point about Poland, though, the point about the Gdansk was basically my girlfriend got me the trip for my 50th because she knows that I've got Polish heritage and that I'd never been. And yeah, now she wants to come back as well because she loved it. Great shopping as well, beautiful cathedrals, just, yeah, a really cool place. We're going to Warsaw this time. I've got relatives in Warsaw. and I was just WhatsApping with the relative yesterday. We're going to go catch up with them, have food with them and hang out and things, and just do some tourist stuff in Warsaw, because that's where Mum was brought up for the first, I don't know, 8 years of her life, 1945 to 53. So yeah, can't wait to go back.
Oh, unreal. So I guess probably you and I have known each other for a while now, virtually at least anyway. And I've heard like snippets of your whole sort of background and story, but like, what is the definitive Thor? This is my Polish connection background story.
The background story is that my grandmother, Veronica, was engaged to be married to some dude from somewhere in Ireland, but this was World War II, and Dave, who's called, he got shot from the air in North Africa by ye olde Nazis. So that was the end of that. And so then she met this Polish guy, Stefan, who was my grandfather, and he was in the Polish army in the UK, but he was studying law at Oxford University. And they got together, and at the end of the war, 45, literally just at the end of World War II, they moved together. My mum was actually born in the UK, but then they moved straight away to Warsaw. Now, I can only imagine what kind of hellscape that was, because the Nazis were just, finished there, and the Soviets were kind of on the way in. So then my granny lived there, as I say, for maybe 8 years. Her husband, Stefan, had a job. I think he was some kind of private assistant to the Prime Minister or something, I guess. And an Oxford educated lawyer was employable by the government, and he ended up, though, being taken away at gunpoint in the middle of the night, and ended up working for I can't remember what the security forces are called, like the what are they called? It's escaping my memory.
KGB, Polish branch. Yeah.
Well, whatever the Polish name for that is. And he ended up doing that for many years, along with whatever his government job was. He ended up basically as a spy, an agent. And he wasn't allowed to move to the UK, although I don't know if my gran would have wanted him to. They ended up getting divorced. He was serially unfaithful. I don't judge him for that. I mean, who knows what their life was like? It's, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to go into that too much. But basically, They ended up divorced, but they remained good friends. I actually met my grandfather Stefan one time in Paris when I was 14. My grandmother took me on a special trip just to meet him, and they were just like best buddies. I could tell straight away. Great vibe between them. They obviously got on great, even though they'd been divorced for many years at that point. So yeah, my mum's half Polish, and as we're going through the process, it's looking like she might never have actually renounced her Polish citizenship. The thing is, once they managed to leave Poland, which was hard to do then, of course, because it was behind the Iron Curtain, part of the Soviet bloc of countries. And once they managed to leave, Mum would have been, as I say, maybe 8 years old. When she wanted to go back when she was 18, and there was some concern as to whether the Polish state might try and keep a hold of her, because it wasn't actually easy to get out in the first place. But yeah, that's kind of the backstory. And so this business, your business, and my little involvement in it, and then using the app, has kind of reinvigorated my Polish heritage thoughts. It's one of those things that I've always kind of, thought about and wondered about, whether I should go there and just get in touch with old relatives and just explore that side of our family. But the app just made it super simple, man. Like, it just took me, like, it's not that it fixes everything instantly, but it like gets you into the process, and then gets you speaking to the right expert. And the expert we're speaking to, Joanna, is great. She's been super friendly, helpful. Like, we're not there yet, but part of it's Mum has had a challenge finding one particular document. She's had to send away for it. I can't remember which one it is. It's some kind of annulment of a marriage, because she'd been married before. So she's having to find that, and that has slowed down the process a little bit. So it's not been your business, the app, and it's not been the expert introduced by the app that's caused the hold up. It's on our side, and we're doing it. We're engaged with it, and we're committed to going through the process. So it'd be hard to tell you what percentage of the way we are through the process, but it's been working so far. And that's kind of where we're at, man. That's all I've got at this point in terms of the story of the journey with this.
Well, it's an awesome story already. There's so many threads that are like, Netflix movies. Like, he was kidnapped, he was a spy, he was like a dude from Eastern Europe going to Oxford pre-World War II. There's so many like elements there. But like I think the most interesting thing that I've found of this is the byproduct is just how many interesting family stories and how complex it is. It's just like, hey,
Mhm.
as you said, hey, I'm missing one document, but that one document is like a whole story, and there's all these complexities around it and all these interesting things, and it's like we kind of sort of feel life as this. I mean, definitely for us in Australia, cookie cutter, like bang, I just certificate, order it. I can do it online, but there's just like so much of your life, is in sort of it just it's a document, but the whole story attached to it is always I just find personally fascinating. So yeah, that's awesome. So I guess interesting, super interesting family story, interesting and I guess diverse family background. Is this your sort of like first official attempt at getting a second citizenship? And I know from grew up in Scotland, so that like depending on who you ask from Scotland, what country it's a part of, you get different answers and stuff. But like
No,
canonically,
no, Nick,
I guess
hold
is
on,
this
mate.
your
Hold
sort of
on. No, 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 no. I was born and brought up in Shetland. So Shetland is theoretically part of Scotland, but actually, if you dig back through history, there's some kind of, um, how would you put it? It was actually part of, I think it's King Christian, some Scandinavian Viking king, basically had run up too much debt, and he ended up pawning off Orkney and then Shetland, the two sets of islands to the north of Scotland, to try and pay off his debt. So theoretically, Shetland and Orkney, as far as they can tell, could still be part of Scandinavia. We're not really part of Scotland at all. And Shetlanders often don't consider themselves Scottish. Now, my parents being English hippies and half Polish, I don't even fit into that. I feel at home in Shetland, don't get me wrong, but um, in terms of heritage, yeah, it's a real mixed bag, man. Um, I don't feel particularly Scottish. I'm from Shetland, but yeah, I've gone off on one there. But you take my point. There's all these complexities, and
yeah.
that's partly what's beautiful about the app is it's helping people figure out some of those complexities and have more of a sense of rootedness potentially. Even if you don't end up getting the second citizenship, it in my case, it put me back in touch with my Polish roots and some Polish relatives who I've reconnected with because of the process. So it'll be a positive, even if I don't end up getting the citizenship. I mean, obviously, I hope I do. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would give it to you, man, if I was in the office. But yeah, I guess that's the interesting thing, right? With that's always great when you kind of hear that when, hey, like we kind of change someone's life in a small, measurable way, potentially their kid's life as well. I know you've got
Mhm.
kids, so if you wanted to do something for your kids one day, that option is now there, and it's much easier than if in 50 or 60 years or something, they tried to do it on their own. So that's the main goal, right? So we've helped with, we've helped do something which is it feels good. So we can definitely see, hey, something that started out as a hobby is changing lives in some small way. I'm not solving world hunger or like world peace or anything. But it's giving people a couple extra options they didn't have, which is always, it's the fact that we did it, and we're doing that for the most part. We may not interact with people that fully, so we're able to do that and do that and give someone an option, and we don't even really have to spend a lot of time with them to do that to change their life. So that's the real kick we get out of it every time I hear that. I can start rambling about it, but it's awesome. It's the best part of this whole thing, I think.
But Nick, you mentioned not solving world peace. Who is solving world peace, mate? I'm not sure anyone is, are they?
I mean, in the other, I don't think we'll ever have, right? There's people always gonna, like there'll be an element of, hey, you can't, if there's people always going to be unhappy with something or whatever. It's just, but I think maybe we are helping in a way. If I give my best Miss Universe pageant answer to say, hey, the fact that you are now going to what is effectively another country, you've got some shared cultural heritage, but you're now going to meet some relatives, you're going to get some understanding, and I think the more sort of that sort of happens, the less likely we are to have massive conflicts with each other, or maybe the catalyst for world conflicts. I don't really know, but
No, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
I think
You're right. and like neither of us can solve world peace, but you're right. Putting people in touch with each other across borders, across like reconnect people with their old heritage, their cultural heritage, certainly should be a peaceful thing. So no, I was joking, obviously, but no, there is an element of harmonizing there. Like, not that there's a particular danger of Shetland and Poland going to war at the moment. Well, not that I've noticed, but you never know. It's a crazy world, man. I wouldn't bet against it the way things are at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? If you had said to people, "Hey, in whatever 2024, this is what's going to be happening in the world," and you told me, 10 years ago, you'd be like, I don't know about that. But that's I guess in 2034, if we're still around, it's going to be exciting again. So.
Well, let's hope we will still be around. Listen, dude, I got to go because my girlfriend lost her cat and it's looking like it might be my fault. So I need to go help sort this out before my client call at past. Because I love the cat. He's called Alfie. He's a little ginger gangster and he loves to jump on my head when I'm in bed at 5 in the morning. So I feed him and I got to go find him. So,
all right. One last thing before you go.
Man. Enjoyed it.
You do one last thing before you go. You do a lot of awesome stuff. Where's the best way people can get in touch with you? What's the best way to reach out to you, hear more of your story,
LinkedIn.
or to LinkedIn?
Definitely LinkedIn. Just connect me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm happy to take connections from people. Potentially set up a call with somebody if there's something I can help them with. Just my name, plug that into LinkedIn, Thor Holt into LinkedIn, and you cannot miss me, man. I was at a comedy gig recently trying to mind my own business, 3 rows back on my own because my girlfriend was away for the weekend, and somebody recognized me. This is in Edinburgh, and suddenly the comedian and the whole place turned on me because this guy in the audience had recognized me when the comedian started speaking to me. He's going, "You're Thor, you're big on LinkedIn," and I'm like, I just want to sit and have a quiet night. The whole place was like chanting my name, man. So yeah, LinkedIn, that's the place to find me.
All right, I'll pop a link. Thanks for your time. We'll check in later. But thanks, man. It was awesome. Love to hear more of the story. And good luck finding Alfie. That is a pretty gangster name, if anyone's seen the Michael Caine movie. But anyway, I'll leave it there.
He is a wee Scottish ginger gangster cat, but he's